teenager who shot 2 people at Noblesville West Middle School is scheduled to appear in court later this afternoon. A tragic day for Indiana law enforcement as Johnson County Deputy Timothy Geyer passed away yesterday morning from a medical issue.
We have some breaking traffic news we need to get to. This is a crash involving a semi on I-65. It's going to be nasty.
And if you're coming from the north heading south into the city from, let's say, Lebanon area, you're going to need to completely find a different detour option. We have those options here for you. I'm going to outline those in just a second. But first, take a look here. We have a good visual overhead of where this crash is. Again, southbound lanes of I-65, all of them are shut down and will be for the next 4 hours. Switching gears now, getting outside. It is a steamy one out there, Kristen. We stepped out for just a minute.
Yeah.
And wow, you got to unbutton the jacket, get a little air in there.
Right, you'll start sweating pretty quick.
Neighbors along East 10th Street are concerned a traffic project designed to control speeding is only making it worse. CBS4 told you about that new project that added 200 barriers just like these along East 10th Street in the Community Heights neighborhood. Well, a study done by the Indiana Finance Authority found the area doesn't have access to enough groundwater sources. The problem is focused on Cicero's east side. We do have some breaking traffic news out there. We're going to take you out live to the south side here where we did have some good news. Westbound traffic along the I-465 between I-65 and I-70 has reopened today, but that good news has been hampered by reports of a deadly crash out there. Well, we're joined by Krista McEnany and Amber Hardwick. My brain just farted. I'm still getting back in the swing of things this Monday morning. I'm like halfway through this cup of coffee, so just give me like a couple more minutes and I'll be
And then it's
right
going to
there.
be in there.
Yeah, we'll be ready to go.
I've already had my first cup and I could use a second.
And I haven't had any, and I really need to get started on that caffeine. So we're all at different levels this morning.
You can still see that IMPD is actively investigating this scene, which happened just earlier this evening around 6:30. They're calling it tragic tonight. Not only will they offer you $5,000 to help you move here, but you'll also get a 1-year membership to the YMCA and gift cards to the farmers market. Also, passes for performances at the Tree County Players and much more. On the outside, the Bloomington Fire Department looks unaffected by the rushing water, which took over only a few days ago. But on the inside, the effects of the rising water and the damage it left behind are still all too apparent. It is absolutely beautiful out here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway right now, and the crews here at IMS are hoping, keeping their fingers crossed, that that rain stays away as long as possible. Now, they have made that change to bump up the start time by just a little bit, and I'm joined this morning by Indianapolis Motor Speedway President Doug Bowles, who ultimately made the final decision on that, I'm sure. Sir, tell me what we're dealing with here, how you guys decided to move that start time up a little bit.
Wait, Justin, all dressed up, this is amazing.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you should address me as Justin or as Iron Man, Tony Stark himself. The town of Speedway is currently split in two, north and south. The town helps the location of the 1300 block development behind us will help unite the racing capital of the world by bringing more business. Kelsey, congratulations. Would you have ever imagined that you would be able to experience this moment with all your friends and family in front of the whole world to see?
No.
There might be nothing quite as synonymous with Indiana as the month of May, racing, and of course the Indy 500. I mean, check out our state quarter here. We've got that beautiful Indy car there. 5 firefighters injured in this fire. One of them is in serious condition. The physical cards themselves won't be hidden, but QR codes just like this will be. 20 of them every day. You'll find them, scan them with your phone, and if you're the first, you win. I'll be hiding the code for this holographic Charizard tomorrow. Kind of like how Santa Claus is the boss, the big man up north, we are joined by Maria Murphy. She is the CEO and Chris Crino Market Master. Thank you so much for joining us out here. Let's go for a little skate.
All right.
With the summer-like temperatures likely here to stay, plenty of Hoosiers just like me will be heading out on the water this weekend for a safe way to beat the heat. A difficult start to 2022 for those that had hoped that the city's violent trend would stop or at least slow down with the start of the new year. First at noon, a cyclist has died from their injuries after being hit by an IMPD officer who was en route to a call. Ahead, what the officer says happened leading up to that incident. In the long road to healing, the Muncie community coming together to pray in the aftermath of Sunday's mass shooting. And we begin with breaking news at noon. Indiana State Police are investigating the death of a central Indianapolis officer at the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy. Few details surrounding the death have been released so far, but state police will be holding a press conference in about an hour. We will be there and we'll bring you any updates to you both on air and online as soon as we know more. Now at noon, we now know the name of the man killed after being hit by an IMPD squad car while riding a bike. 34-year-old Joseph Steiger was hit and killed yesterday as IMPD officers were responding to a 911 call. CBS 4's Cameron Riddle now joins us to explain what police say led up to that crash. A sad update there. Thank you, Cameron. Well, let's switch gears here. Let's go outside. I stepped out for just a minute. It is warm. The cicadas are doing their thing, making a whole bunch of noise. I know we talked earlier about that muggy meter and some of that haze coming back in from the wildfires.
Yeah.
What do you think, Krista?
Well,
thank you, Krista. We're working to learn more about what led up to a school bus crash on Indy's west side. Police were called to this scene, the area of West 10th Street and Country Club Road, just after 9 o'clock this morning. 2 students were on that bus that you can see there at the time of the crash. They were checked out on scene before being sent off to school. Thankfully, no serious injuries were reported. Along with unanswered questions, the Muncie community is now dealing with the shock and grief of Sunday morning's shooting. Tonight, people will gather for a second prayer vigil for the victims of the shooting. Our own Zach Myers is in Muncie now with more on how the community is coming together to grieve. New at noon, a warrant issued for a former Madison County councilman accused of raping an underage girl. Law enforcement is searching for 55-year-old Steve Sumner. You can see him on your screen now. He failed to appear in court and he now faces 15 felony charges for sex crimes, including possession of child pornography, molestation, and rape. He resigned from the Madison County Council in May of 2021 after charges were filed in December of 2020. The ACLU is asking the Indiana Supreme Court to keep the near-total ban on abortion on hold for now. Its new petition, filed only yesterday, could keep the law from going into effect today. The new law bans abortions from the point of conception with limited exceptions in cases of rape or incest, or if the health of either the mother or fetus is at risk. Last month, the state Supreme Court ruled the new abortion law does not violate the Constitution's privacy protections. Now, the ACLU filed a petition for a rehearing to expand what should be considered, quote, serious health risk to the patient. Former Vice President and former Indiana Governor Mike Pence is scheduled to speak at the Indiana State Fair tomorrow. The presidential candidate will discuss how he would address inflation if elected. Pence is scheduled to speak at the fair at noon. Well, in your Colts Blue Zone this afternoon, today marks 40 days until the start of the regular season. Can you believe it? Well, to celebrate the team's upcoming 40th season here in Indy, they're offering $40 tickets. Now, this deal is only good for, you guessed it, 40 hours, so you have until tomorrow at midnight to claim your tickets. After winds knocked out power to thousands today across central Indiana, tonight the skies are clearing and the sun is on the way for your Sunday. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Justin Kollar. It was a beautiful day out there. Beside for some of that wind, got to go for a nice walk. Hopefully you enjoyed it as well. Let's get right over to Chief Meteorologist Chris Wright. He's in for Alyssa tonight and he's got your forecast first. Chris, tell us a little bit about that wind out there.
Yeah, Justin.
Well, the wind has caused a lot of problems throughout the day, as we've been talking about. Right now, still nearly 7,000 people are without power in the metro area. Between AES customers and Duke Energy customers, both companies say they're working hard to restore power as quickly as possible. A man is dead after a shooting outside a funeral. This happened around 12:30 this afternoon on the near northeast side. CBS 4's Max Lewis tells us police do have a person in custody. We continue to follow a developing story from last night. IMPD is investigating after a juvenile was shot on the city's northwest side. This was the scene at the motel. This is on Lafayette Road near 16th Street along the White River there. Officers were called around 9:40. While IMPD did not provide a specific age, officers did confirm the young victim was awake and breathing when they were taken to the hospital. Well, the Red Cross is helping out a family of 9 tonight after a large fire at their east side home. This according to the Indianapolis Fire Department. The fire broke out around 1:45 at this home you're seeing on Southby Lane. The families told firefighters they first noticed flames outside the front door. Luckily, they were all able to get out the back. But they said they have no idea how it could have started in the first place. Homes on either side of the house were also damaged because of the strong wind we experienced. One firefighter suffered a slight injury. Luckily, no one in the family was injured. Well, the midterm election just 4 days away now. Early voting continues this weekend in many locations across Indiana, and polls are open on Tuesday from 6 a.m. until 6 p.m. You'll see several races on the ballot. Everyone in Indiana will have the opportunity to vote in the U.S. Senate race, as well as Indiana's Secretary of State and other statewide offices. You can also cast a vote for your representative in Congress and representatives at the Indiana State House. With the balance of power up for grabs in Congress in Tuesday's midterm elections, candidates and former presidents are making their final push to voters this weekend. And today's wind and rain didn't dampen the spirits for Indiana's largest marathon. We're talking 15,000 people from all 50 states that gathered in downtown Indy to run in today's monumental marathon. It's the 10th year in a row that the marathon completely sold out. All the proceeds go towards local public education.
You got to build trust and have communication.
Some say you can't be sad while cycling.
I want everybody to have a smile on their face, not a frown like, sometimes I have to see.
IMPD Patrol Officer Roman Williams Irvin has seen his fair share of frowns, especially in the Near East Side neighborhood, where 11 of the city's 114 homicides this year have taken place.
We selected this particular area for this community bike ride because it is considered one of our hot spots and hot zones. And we wanted to bring the community out together.
And what better way to do that than with hot dogs, handlebars, and happiness?
We want to be that positive influence in the neighborhood.
Taku Mengoro lives on the east side.
I'm here to do my part.
He's here to help push this community forward through communication.
It's one thing to talk about wanting to improve the neighborhood. I want to be out there.
Right. Not out riding, but out encouraging. Travis Walker hopes these rides can continue.
To me, that's really a blessing because you really don't see it, especially not in these type of neighborhoods.
Because this neighborhood is home for many, and everyone deserves to be safe.
I live in the inner city. I love the neighborhoods. So it's for me, it's personal. To give back to the city, and every day I put this uniform on, I'm giving back to the city. I'm not just volunteering, I've given my life to this community.
Justin, you spoke with police, so what else have you learned about this investigation?
Yeah, Dan and Beershell, as you can see by the lights still flashing behind me across the street from where those shots rang out earlier today, the status of this investigation is still ongoing. We spoke with friends and co-workers of Greg Ferenczi who say that his presence here at the Terre Haute Police Department will greatly be missed. We just received an official statement from the FBI about 30 minutes ago, and they are leading the investigation, of course, on this one after one of their own and a 30-year member of the Terre Haute Police Department, Greg Ferenczi, was killed in the line of duty earlier today.
It's a time for all of us to pause and reflect.
All lights, no sound. Sometimes there's just nothing left to say.
It's a sad day for this community and for the Terre Haute Police Department.
Dozens stopped what they were doing to honor the fallen officer this evening as he passed his police station one final time.
Seeing all these people out here, that was support that we need.
At 2:15 this afternoon, Greg Ferenczi was ambushed and fatally shot at the FBI Indianapolis resident agency in Terre Haute, a community he served for 3 decades.
It's very difficult. It was somebody that we see every day.
Edward Tompkins worked alongside Greg for nearly all of them. He paid his respects tonight in silence.
Together for 29 years, on the job and off-duty jobs, and got to know him real well.
As brothers behind the badge, Tompkins knows the sacrifice put on display today is just part of the job.
Every time we come out and do this job, we know the chances of this happening is possible.
It doesn't make saying goodbye any easier.
We owe Greg a debt of gratitude like he'll never be able to be repaid.
Gratitude, respect, sacrifice, a commitment to community.
Although the world for these officers has come to a standstill, the needs of the community go on.
Now, there is still much we don't know yet tonight, guys, but we are continuing to learn more. We do know that the suspect was shot by another FBI agent in pursuit after Greg was shot. He is receiving treatment at a nearby hospital. We're told that the police chief of the Terre Haute Police Department, along with the FBI, will have that joint press conference some point tomorrow where we expect to learn a lot more information, of course, tomorrow. But our hearts tonight go out to Greg Ferenczi's family. We are reporting live in Terre Haute this evening. I'm Justin Kollar, Fox 59 News. the checkout can be a scary place, especially when you're trying to save a buck.
It's clear the need is there and people are struggling.
When your dollar doesn't stretch quite as far as it used to, Kroger's Eric Halverson recommends giving some of his store brand products a try.
When people are looking at the price, I think, especially these days, that becomes a deciding factor.
More often than not, Kroger and other large grocery store chains like it will place their store product right next to the larger, more recognizable competition product. Take, for example, the Kroger Raisin brand. It's literally situated right next to the Kellogg's Raisin brand, except this one is a fraction of the price.
It's called reference pricing, is the term that we use in marketing. And so this is your reference that tells you that's a good deal. And the only way you know it is because that's sitting there.
John Talbot, director of the Center for Education and Research in Retail at the Kelley School of Business, says stores like Kroger can ride the coattails of their competition, cutting costs by sidestepping advertising without cutting taste.
They spend a lot of time and effort carefully comparing the taste of their products to those that they're trying to sell against, and they work hard to make them have really the same flavor.
They may look the same, but how do they?
That one tastes.
We tested 3 groups of FFA students and their parents from across the country to see.
I think the jelly on this one tastes better.
I like my peanut butter thick.
Oh, this is definitely the store brand.
How do you know that?
Well, the bread's it's like it dents more.
You didn't even try that one yet.
I know, but I feel like I know.
What do you think?
Pretty good. It's a normal peanut butter and jelly sandwich, I think.
But no matter how many PBJs they ate,
This is Jif. I gotta tell you, I'm having a hard time really telling the difference.
no one could tell for sure.
It would be just a guess. I don't
Okay.
really know.
And as for the chips,
They're looking a lot more cheddary, like they got a lot more goods on them.
Too much flavoring.
how's that chip?
Salty.
Salty. This one on this side's more crunchier.
Crunchy or salty,
How certain are you?
I'm not.
no one could tell.
I'm going to switch my vote and say this one's name
You think
brand.
that one's the name brand, that one's from the store?
Yeah,
Okay, how certain are you of that?
like 10%.
And after testing 17 people,
I would guess in most cases, people really probably can't really tell the difference.
the reveal is no one was right, which Talbot says isn't surprising.
Yeah, it just goes to show you that, we may perceive that we have that expertise around palate, but context matters, packaging matters, and all of that could change how you perceive the taste of something.
Yeah.
So the next time you go shopping, remember,
Quality's the same, the flavor is the same, or we would say even better than some of the national competitors.
well, all I can say is this store ain't big enough for the two of us. Hey, we posted the receipts and the price differences. You can take a look for yourself right now on CBS4Indy.com.